Hi, Damon here for Automotive Superstore. This time around we're checking out Pioneer's new flagship. It's called the SPH-EVO107DAB. Digital radio, of course, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and this glorious new 10.1-inch high definition screen. Let's jump in. So let's kick off with what comes inside the box. Obviously with a floating screen, there's a little bit more for the assembly. So the screen itself's got to be connected to the front of the chassis. It's a single DIN case that houses all of the gubbins inside with a couple of leads that plug into the back of the screen, and it affixes with screws. It's adjustable for height, up and down, and for tilt. And there are things like this cover here that goes on the back and makes it all nice and neat and tidy once it's inside your dashboard. You've got a whole bunch of fitting screws for doing that. A USB extension with a single 1.5 amp USB. The main power loom, obviously, that gives you your power earth trigger and the 4 internal power channels connections. It's their MOSFET 50 system, so around 22 watts RMS by 4 for the front and rear internal power channels. This optional lead here you can plug in, that's your front, rear and subwoofer RCA pre-outs that are 4 volts RMS. There's also a rear monitor out and dual camera inputs on that one. Your Bluetooth microphone. This is a little plate that comes for the GPS antenna you'll need for the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Your DAB antenna, obviously, and a full owner's manual. Now let's run through some of the features of the unit. Now, being the flagship, obviously, it's got all the bells and whistles. The 10.1-inch screen native resolution is 1280 by 720 pixels, therefore happily playback 1080p video. I've tested a few files on flash drive, happy to play those back. Obviously looks fantastic. There's also this, what Pioneer call the luminous bar. It's a LED strip here that lights up in RGB. It's got these 2 little dancing lights left and right. It's kind of funky and looks cool, and I haven't seen that on a head unit before. It's a nice little addition. It also has iDatalink Maestro, so you can option various modules, and for certain late model Japanese and American vehicles, things like the Ranger as well as the Colorado, you can have factory fitted things like tire pressure monitors and gauges and stuff come through and be displayed on the screen as per the factory screen in your dash when you replace it with this one. There's also WebLink. Now that is Pioneer's version of screen mirroring, but I found that to be a much better system than traditional USB or HDMI connected screen mirroring systems. For a start, the audio and video sync is perfect. It's also access to a number of other features, so you can access the videos in your own phone, you can access the music stored on your phone also, and you can also look up things like restaurants and stuff like that. So it's actually quite a neat system, and it's better than just regular screen mirroring. It's connected just via the USB to either an iPhone or an Android phone. Then there's PX Link. Now that's another proprietary thing from Pioneer. It's an app you download onto your phone. It allows you to adjust the widgets and personalize the screen to your own liking via the app. Another nice touch. It also has dual camera inputs as well as dual Bluetooth for your phones, and that for tradies is really, really handy. I also tested it with some high-res FLAC files, and while it's not certified for that, it happily played back the test files I had up to 96K and 48-bit. So kicking off in Android Auto mode, first of all, our phone's connected wirelessly, and you just scroll up and down to access all these apps. So the first thing I noticed in Apple CarPlay with this unit is that you get 5 icons across for top and bottom instead of 4. Here again, you've got access to all of your maps, navigation, important communication apps, and split screen. So the first thing you'll see actually is the new side menu that is offered on the latest generation of Pioneer units. It's a shortcut to a bunch of important features. So you can just go and adjust your EQ, you can go into settings, or while it's still playing on your CarPlay, you can go forward and backwards on your tracks and hit mute. So that's a nice new function from Pioneer. Let's jump into settings. Here are all your standard settings. Volume offset for your different sources. That's a nice thing to have. Your AV settings. Control for your camera. Turning demo mode on and off. Steering wheel controls and things like that. Hit the easel, and here we can change our background. There are different types to choose from. There's illumination colors you can change, or you can change to whatever you really want to on this bar graph. Let's jump into sound control. So let's start with loudness. There are 3 levels. Source level adjuster, FM to CarPlay, that's a nice addition. Individual speaker level control. In all the high-end Pioneer units, you've got a choice of network mode or standard mode. Standard mode is front and rear speakers and then maybe a subwoofer. Whereas in network mode, it would be tweeters and mid-range drivers in the front and then maybe a subwoofer. Time alignment, you can delay all the speakers in the system. You can see here that it's got tweeters, mid-ranges and a subwoofer in this particular setting. Let's have a look at the crossover. Because we're in network mode currently, you have a choice of high, mid-low pass, mid-high pass, and subwoofer to control. You can vary the filter slope, shallow to very, very steep, as high as 36 dB per octave for the subwoofer, but 24 dB per octave for all the other slopes. And then here you can adjust the frequency. Here you can also adjust the phase of each of the speakers. And so that's Pioneer's new flagship, the SPH-EVO107DAB. If you want to grab one, there'll be a link down below. Way down there, like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.